speaking of wide receivers, since we last spoke, it's been reported that the Niners are interested in Mike Evans. I mean, it seems like Jawan Jennings is one of the top, if not the top wide receiver on the market. He could get $20+ million a year. I don't think the Niners are going to give that to him. If he leaves, they'll need an X receiver who can line up on the line of scrimmage, beat the press, block, beat one-on-one coverage. I mean, Mike Evans is a future Hall of Fame X receiver, and he has specific demands. Let me get what exactly he said.
Yeah,
right,
good quarterback, winning team.
Yeah, he said he wants a quarterback he believes in, a chance at a Super Bowl, a top shelf offensive coordinator, and the promise of high volume touches. Well, I mean, while Kittle's out, if Jennings is gone, maybe they'd have to give him a lot. Do the Niners fit the criteria? Are they a good fit for each other?
Oh my God, they're the best fit. They're the best fit. I mean, just because, look, I added it up. Guess how many touches D-Rob, Cowing, Watkins, and Pearsall combined for last year?
10.
No, touches. So carries or
D-Rob. Well, Cowing got 0. Watkins got like probably 3.
Cowing,
Robinson maybe got 10.
It was actually 65.
Who am I not hearing now?
Pearsall.
Oh, Pearsall.
The one that's a little surprising is Robinson got a few touches, but 65 total touches for all those guys. So they need a volume receiver. I mean, it's easy to say, well, the Niners need speed, and they do need speed, but they may need 2 guys, and one of the guys may need to be somebody who catches like 80+ balls. I think Wan'Dale Robinson would be a great fit for them because he's caught 90 balls the last couple of years on bad Giant teams, and he catches a lot of footballs. That's the guy I think would make the biggest impact as far as, just catches. But yeah, the Niners need a volume-based receiver. They were talking about Jalen Naylor. There was a report about Jalen Naylor and Romeo Doubs. Well, Doubs makes sense because he catches a lot of footballs, but even on a crowded Green Bay team. But Naylor only does not catch a high volume of balls. So, I mean, the Niners at this point, they need somebody to move the chains. So Mike Evans, I think, makes tons of sense. There's no Kittle, there's no JJ, there's no Ayuk. McCaffrey's coming off a 450 touch season. Juice is older. Pearsall's always hurt. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of touches there for Mike Evans if he wants them.
I think he's a good fit with Brock Purdy as well. I'm going to come back to the height for a quarterback. Brock Purdy isn't too short. He's taller than 6 feet. He has mentioned that he doesn't see the field as well from the pocket. He rolls out very well. I think there's a reason he likes Jawan Jennings so much. There's a reason he likes George Kittle so much. He sees them so well, and they're both big targets as opposed to Jacob Cowing or Brandon Ayuk wasn't the biggest target, but he had the biggest wingspan. I think he benefits from that. I think he liked receivers like that in college. And Mike Evans is the ultimate. He made Johnny Manziel look like Peyton Manning. He was super effective with Baker Mayfield. Those are both smaller quarterbacks as well. I think it would be a good fit between Purdy and Mike Evans. And I do think the Niners would give him a lot of targets. It'd be much better than bringing back Deebo Samuel. I wonder if it's a little late for Mike Evans. He just had a pretty bad year. He was injured. These are the Niners we're talking about. I don't even have to bring up the substation. The trainer and the training facility, it doesn't seem like the Niners are very good at keeping players healthy or bringing players back. I'm sure there's exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, Evans is interesting because it's like, suppose he's going to command a big price tag. And, that's the kind of player that used to come and play for the Niners for less. So he's going to want to get, going rate, I'm sure. He is interesting from the standpoint of he's a downfield threat. With Brock Purdy, you got to have either bigger receivers or you got to have guys who are precise route runners. Why? Because he throws balls with anticipation, and you can't throw an anticipatory ball if I don't know where you're going to be, Ray McLeod, if I don't know where you're going to be, Jordan Watkins, if I don't know where you're going to be, Jacob Cowing. So that's, I think, a big thing with young receivers is that, it'll be interesting to see, do the Niners try to fill their receiver need in the draft again, or do they go try to do it in free agency or some combination thereof, or do they go with an older free agent like Evans? Because they need, if for a quarterback that throws with anticipation, you better be in the spot you're supposed to be, or it's just going to be easy picks. So, they need dynamic guys, yes, but they need dynamic guys that are going to hit their benchmarks and be where they're supposed to be, or it's going to be an ugly year.
I'm a little nervous about Mike Evans too. I mean, when wide receivers fall off, it happens real fast. In 2024, he was 31 years old. He had a really good year. He still missed 3 games. He was limping around a lot, but he still had 74 catches for 1,004 yards and 11 touchdowns. He barely got 1,000 yards, but he got 11 touchdown catches. Then in 2025 at 32, only 8 games, 62 targets, only 30 catches, 368 yards. I mean, he's only 12 yards, only 3 touchdowns. Like, is it over for him? He had a really good quarterback. He didn't have Liam Cohn anymore. I'd be really nervous about giving him $15 to $20 million a year. I'd rather sign Romeo Doubs for 10, considering Doubs is like 25 years old.
Yeah, I would too. Romeo Doubs, I think, makes a lot of sense. Why? Because he's a chain mover. That's the other thing the Niners need. They have to have somebody who can move the chain, somebody they need somebody who can be a key third down guy. And you know what they really miss is, there was a rumor over the weekend that they like Chris Bell at in the draft, and Chris Bell is great on these in-breaking routes. With no Ayuk and with maybe no JJ, they got to have somebody with Brock Purdy who can throw a lot of those in-breaking routes to those. And, Mike Evans could be that guy. Romeo Doubs could definitely be that guy. There's a lot of talk, Grant, that the 49ers are going to be one of 5 or 6 teams that when free agency begins are going to be aggressively after Alec Pierce. I think Wan'Dale Robinson and Jahan Dotson would be interesting names because they're, good route runners. And especially Dotson. I always loved Dotson at Penn State. It just hasn't happened in Philly where there was a lot of bodies. In Washington, he was kind of young. But I kind of think Jahan Dotson could play good football at a cheap price for somebody.
The idea that the Niners would be like the only team in NFL history or in a long time that would have 2 white starting wide receivers and one's named Pierce and one's named Pearsall would be hilarious to me. But hey, I'm white, so
Pearson Pearsall.
Pearson Pearsall. It sounds like a law firm,
right?
With McCaffrey and Juszczyk in the backfield. Hey, why not? That'd be cool. I just feel like Pierce is gonna be very expensive. Pierce and Jennings are gonna be very expensive. I don't think Dobbs is gonna be that expensive, and maybe he could be better on the Niners. Maybe he could be better with Brock Purdy than he is with Jordan Love. Is Brock Purdy better than Jordan Love? When healthy, Brock Purdy seems to be a little bit better than Jordan Love. It's just Jordan Love's a little bit more durable. I don't know.
No, I think Jordan Love's body is kind of an ideal body size and type for the quarterback position, but I think Brock Purdy's decision making is quite a bit better.
Brock needs to stop turning the ball over, but I know what you mean. He seems like he thinks on his feet quicker, although sometimes he makes some crazy mistakes.
I think Brock's greatest strength is how quickly he processes. Now, once again, if you watch that Seattle film that I watched, well, the Seattle film I watched, you got an offensive line that could block for like a couple seconds and then it's jailbreak, and receivers that couldn't have gotten open if he had 10 seconds. So it's like their issues aren't the play call or Brock. Their issues are the protection and the receivers.
And that's my thing is like, if they sign Romeo Doubs, what are they going to go from scoring 6 points to 9 against Seattle? I mean, I don't think Romeo Doubs is the difference. And I don't think 33-year-old Mike Evans is the difference. If they're really going to make headway against the Seahawks, they got to go from having a weak offensive line to a strong one. And I think that takes a big commitment. I don't know. See if they can do it.
We'll see, because they haven't invested a first-round pick in a guard in a long time.
That's Josh Garnett. Spider Niner says Trey Lance's brother, LOL. It's too bad the Niners seem to have alienated the entire Lance family, because it looks like Lance the younger might be the real NFL prospect here.
He can definitely run. His speed is legit. It's funny. 2 Lances, only one ran at the combine. The fast one.
And he kind of reminds me of Christian Watson, who seems to be finding a foothold as a starting receiver in the NFL. I don't know if he's a guy you would make as a number 1 receiver, but he's a big threat guy. So I don't know. I'd love to see another Lance on the team, though.
Yeah. Could you imagine Trey's hanging out.
Brock
all the
Purdy
time.
throwing at Trey Lance's little brother. Trey would be like, "How could you do this to me, Bryce? How could you do this to me?"
Could you
Thought we were
imagine if
brothers.
Bryce Lance? They drafted Bryce Lance. Just say he's not going in the first round, but let's just say he went in round 2 because he did run on 4.3s. Let's say they drafted him in round 2, and he just becomes the man.
I know.
Right? To the point where he could call shots and be like, I want Trey to be the backup.
Yeah,
now you've got
in the NFL.
Brock Purdy, whose number one receiver is Trey Lance's brother, who's demanding Trey be his backup.
That would be really great. I'm rooting for that. Lyle Bolliard says defense wins championships. Niners need to get back to a top 5 defense. So let's get this front 7 back to where it belongs.
Yeah.
I agree. Although it seems like the back 4 also matters too. Look at Seattle. Joseph Ehrenberg says, how much would Pierce cost realistically? 20 million a year?
No, more.
More.
Yeah, I would say
Wide receiver market is pretty crazy.